In order to get a magnified view of the structures at the back of the eye, which are called the fundus, we need to use some form of instrumentation. The one that was readily available and familiar from general practice is a direct ophthalmoscope, which gives you a highly magnified view, but a restricted field of view. You want to set this either to 0 if you have normal vision or are wearing contact lenses, or if you're wearing glasses, remove your glasses and standing about arm's length away from a sharp edge, use the lens wheel until the sharp edge is in focus. Remember that the patient's own eye will focus light coming in toward the back of the eye onto the neuroretina, which is why 0 is what we will normally choose unless we have a refractive error ourselves. Available, but often unfairly neglected in practice, is the technique for indirect ophthalmoscopy, where you need a focal light source, such as a pen torch, or better, a Finhoff transilluminator, which gives you a brightly focused light source, and a handheld condensing lens specially designed for this job. This is a very nice lens. This is a Volk pan-retinal lens, which gives you very wide field of view with reasonable magnification. The joy of indirect ophthalmoscopy is the field of view that it provides. With an increase in field of view, you will naturally get less magnification. So the direct gives you a restricted field of view with high magnification, and the indirect gives you a wide field of view but with low magnification. Nestling comfortably in between these two, and a useful clinical compromise, is the panoptic ophthalmoscope designed by Welsh Allen, which gives you a field of view very similar to what you see in books with images taken with a fundus camera. So the field of view lies between the direct and the indirect. It's also displayed upright, which makes it easier to understand, whereas with the indirect ophthalmoscope, the image that you see on the lens is inverted and upside down. In order to perform indirect ophthalmoscopy, you do need a mydriatic or a dilated pupil. Sometimes mydriasis is contraindicated, for example, if your patient had raised intracranial pressure, and there may be patients who have dilated pupils for physiological or pathological reasons where you don't need a mydriatic, but in normal animals with reactive pupils you will need to dilate them in order to perform indirect ophthalmoscopy to a high standard. So using this model of a canine eye, I'm just going to illustrate the difference in the field of view that you get with the different ophthalmoscopes. With the direct ophthalmoscope, this one, your field of view is only about that big. So if you're lucky, it might be on the optic nerve head, but the dog's, remember, going to be moving, so you'll get views of that, then views of that, then views of that. And your field of view is so restricted that building up a mental image of the whole of the tapetal or non-tapetal fundus is really very challenging indeed. With the panoptic ophthalmoscope, this one, your field of view is bigger and more closely resembles the images taken with fundus cameras that illustrate textbooks. So your field of view tends to be more like that. So you get a bigger area illuminated at any one time, so you'll see not only the optic nerve head, but a disc diameter or two out with the optic nerve head at the same time. So it's much easier to build up a composite image of more of the fundus. Before performing indirect ophthalmoscopy with a handheld condensing lens, it's important to identify the observer side of the lens and the patient side of the lens. On the more expensive lenses, there's a silver rim on the patient side. Conventionally, the writing along the rim has the base of the lettering toward the patient. So silver rim, base of the lettering going towards the patient. When performing indirect ophthalmoscopy, if you have a handheld light source and a handheld lens, you don't have any free hands. So your assistant has to hold the patient's head nice and steady and hold the lids open of the eye that you wish to examine. Stand back at outstretched arm's length and direct your light held against your temple through the pupil until you can see the fundic reflection. At that point, you want to bring your hand lens into place at right angles to your incident beam. Start by holding the lens really quite close to the brow, and you'll see an image which will include out of focus eyelids and iris in the image that you see on your hand lens. You want just to see the fundus, So gradually extend the fingers, holding the lens in place but not losing contact with your patient's brow, until the fundus fills the lens and you can't see any more iris, you can't see any more eyelids. If you haven't dilated the pupil, you'll get a brief view of the fundus, and then you'll see the iris zooming in and taking up part of the image as the pupil constricts. If the pupil constricts, or alternatively if the patient retracts the globe and the third eyelid obscures the image, just move the lens out of position. Don't move anything else. And then as soon as you see the pupil dilate or the third eyelid come down, you can quickly move the lens back in position. The reason why this works is because the lens is focusing the light on the retina, making it extremely powerful. And as soon as you remove the lens, the light intensity is reduced for the patient, therefore they're more likely to dilate the pupil again or relax the retraction of the globe, and the third eyelid swings out of the way once more. So you get a quick view, see if that starts to happen. Is the pupil constricting? Is the third eyelid coming across? If it is, swing the light out the way, wait until you can see that the situation's improved, and then just bring the lens back in place very quickly for another quick look. So to perform close direct ophthalmoscopy, first I hold the patient's eyelids open with my free hand, and then I bring my ophthalmoscope into position, shine it directly through the pupil with the instrument only a couple of centimetres from the cornea, making sure that I stabilise the instrument with the fingers of this hand underneath the patient's mandible, so I've got it nice and secure there and close to the cornea, and then and only then do I bring my head so that my eye is up against the viewing hole. When using the panoptic ophthalmoscope, similarly hold the lids open with your free hand and approach the patient's cornea with the instrument in your other hand, shining the light through the pupil and then bringing your head to the instrument. Now these normally have a rubber cup attached to the patient end. I can mimic that with my fingers here. It's important that you remove the rubber cup if you're using this technique in horses, as they won't tolerate the contact of the instrument with the skin of the eyelids. But in dogs and cats you can use the rubber cup attachment and press it up against the skin.